shopping for essentials, medical reasons, exercise or work if they can't do so from home. Masks will also be mandatory.
I know for many Western Australians, this is going to come as a shock. But this week, it is absolutely crucial that we stay home, maintain physical distancing and personal hygiene, and get tested if you have symptoms.
Well, Gareth Parker is the host of 6PR Breakfast in Perth and he joins us now. Gareth, good evening. The security guard that's in question here also worked as a rideshare driver. What do we know about his movements while he's been contagious?
Hi, everyone. Well, they're saying at this point that he hasn't worked as a rideshare driver since the 22nd of January. The authorities believe that he contracted coronavirus in a hotel quarantine situation on the 24th of January and that he was infectious from the 26th of January. So they're saying that although he was a rideshare driver, there's no overlap between him contracting the virus. That's what they're saying.
See, WA protocol supposedly doesn't permit frontline workers to hold more than one job, but there does sound like there has been some sort of crossover at some point.
Well, it's interesting. I went back and double-checked that, and in fact, Mark McGowan, when this came up in November after Adelaide went into its lockdown, they certainly changed the protocols around compulsory testing for hotel quarantine workers and made that compulsory. That only went into effect very recently. But when it comes to second jobs, not at any stage did the government actually rule it out or make it forbidden. I think they asked and they pleaded and they advised, but they said it was actually too difficult to prevent people from working second jobs. Now, the Premier hinted that that would be reviewed at his press conference a few hours ago, but clearly that's going to be part of the focus as we go forward. It's always been the case, despite all the rhetoric in this state about closing the borders to the eastern states, it's always been the case that the biggest risk of infection is from within hotel quarantine, where the cases are from West Australians coming back, not from other parts of Australia, but from overseas.
Gareth, in the lead up to this lockdown, we've seen shopping centres packed with panic buyers, no masks. The website with the list of exposure sites keeps crashing as well. Is WA prepared to tackle an outbreak in the community?
I think we're about to find out, aren't we? It has come as a shock to people. It's 37 degrees here in Perth today, and I went to the beach this morning with my family, had a fantastic time, as tens and tens of thousands of others did, and it was the last thing on anyone's mind. Ironically, I actually happened to be at the supermarket when my phone started going off with messages speculating that we might be about to go into a lockdown. So, look, it's the first time that we've dealt with this since the original lockdowns back in March and April of this year in this state. A lot of people have been making comment on my Twitter about the fact that no one's wearing masks. There's never been a direction to wear masks. We've gone more than 9 months without a single case of community transmission. I would say maybe half the households in this state don't have a mask. So people are going to have to figure that out now. It was unusual and confronting to see the Premier turn up at the press conference, walk out of the doors in front of the cameras with a mask on. It's the first time we've seen that.
You were there in a supermarket, be honest with us. Did you pick up a bit of extra toilet paper?
Peter, you're going to love this. I literally had to go to the supermarket because we did not have one square of toilet paper
So
in
he
the house.
says. So
and I actually ran into someone at the supermarket who accused me of panic buying.
Now, on a slightly more serious note, there's a plane load of pollies, as I understand it, who are about to land in Canberra. Parliamentary sitting week coming up federally. Will they have to quarantine?
It's the number one question on the charter flight, I can tell you that, PVO. I think they're all worried about the same thing. From what I understand, they've just landed, and at this point they've been told to go to their accommodation, to wear masks and hang tight until further advice. I think when this happened with Queensland, the direction was to quarantine, so maybe that's a precedent. I guess it'll depend on whatever the ACT's Chief Health Officer decides in consultation with the West Australian Chief Health Officer.
Well, Gareth, good luck over the next 5 days.